Coherence, the low-budget 2013 science fiction thriller. In this video we will map out its story and explore its deeper themes and symbolism. There will be spoilers. Let us begin. Okay, so the first sign that there's something weird going on is when Emily's phone cracks right at the beginning of the movie. And from that point, a mysterious quantum roulette wheel is set up outside the house. Anyone who enters it is plunged into the darkness and regurgitated into an alternate reality. It's a bizarre phenomenon resulting from the passing of Miller's comet. So let's walk through it. The 8 friends gather for a dinner party. The hosts are the couple Mike and Lee, and they have invited 3 other couples, Hugh and Beth, Amir and Laurie, Kevin and Emily. From the outset there's an awkwardness because Laurie, who's going out with Amir, is Kevin's ex. We'll call this House 1. Now the comet causes a blackout, so the characters each take a blue glow stick. They venture outside, meaning that though they do not yet know it, they have entered the roulette wheel. This regurgitates them into an alternate reality, and they find themselves in an alternate house. It's almost identical to the original house, but a few details are amiss.
I didn't even see this get knocked over. Did anyone see that get knocked over?
So we'll call this House 2. Now at this point, it's worth asking what happened to the original occupants of House 2. Well, presumably they also experienced a blackout and ventured outside, so they too were caught up in the roulette wheel and regurgitated into a different reality. The film creates a sense that, to begin with, the different realities are very similar, and as time goes on, they diverge, creating more alternate realities. Director James Byrkit has confirmed that the number of alternate realities in this movie is not infinite.
Not infinite houses. There's a debate about this, but we don't think it's unlimited. It's not infinite houses that have branched this night. It's only specific moments that diverge.
Okay, so the entire group of 8 went outside. They're now in an alternate reality, but they haven't realised that yet. Then things get really freaky. The camera remains in House 2, so from our perspective, Hugh and Amir go out, and then an alternate Hugh and Amir return with a box containing a ping pong bat and red numbers. Emily writes these down in a notebook. More on that later. Now, what makes this film existentially terrifying is when you think everyone else in the room is from your reality, and it turns out they're not. During the first swap, all 8 characters went outside together, so they all swapped realities together. But now things are mixed up because only Hugh and Amir went out, so they got lost to a different reality, and a new Hugh and Amir have arrived to take their place. But they don't know this yet. Then Blue Glowstick Emily, Kevin, Mike and Laurie, the originals, they venture out. They encounter 4 people with red glow sticks, probably their doubles. And those are presumably from a third house in which the red glow stick box was opened instead of the blue one. Understandably, Blue, Emily, Kevin, Mike and Laurie are profoundly disturbed by this encounter. They run back across the dark area, thinking they are returning to House 2, but remember it's a roulette wheel, so they actually end up in a 4th house. Now this house has blue glow sticks. And this is where the group realise that they have an alternate Hugh and Amir in their midst, because Hugh and Amir are carrying red glow sticks. Beth remembers a physics book in Hugh's car that might explain what's going on. Hugh and Kevin go out to retrieve it, and because the car is so nearby, I don't think they enter the roulette wheel at that point. Now the book informs the group about what's going on, the physics of it. And they come to believe that there are 2 realities. Their reality with the blue glow sticks and a second reality with the red glow sticks. Mike suggests killing the doubles at the red house. Everyone objects to that plan, especially Hugh and Amir. That's understandable because they themselves are from a red house. Mike wants to prevent the other house from learning about the physics of what's going on, because he's fearful that his alternate self will become murderous. So he hatches a plan to stop the other house from getting the physics book.
I have an idea that'll prevent them from getting the book from the car.
What are you talking about, man?
I'm gonna go to that house and I'm gonna blackmail myself. I'm gonna leave a note to keep Mike from having them go book.
You mean a blackmail?
Something that I know that I don't want revealed.
What are you talking about?
The thing with Beth.
The thing with Beth? I thought you worked that out years ago.
No, man, it's
This is the
amazing.
worst idea I've ever heard.
It's amazing because it would work on me. That's the same person.
We don't need it. You don't know that. This all passed. No, I know this look in your eye. I know.
Years ago, Mike had a sexual encounter with Hugh's wife, Beth, and this has remained a secret. So Mike thinks he can use this to blackmail his alternate self into hiding the physics book, so that the Red House doesn't find out what's going on. So Blue Mike ventures out and is lost to an alternate reality. So at this point, the group only think there are two houses in play. What they don't realise is that there are actually potentially many more alternate realities that have already been at play in the story. Then Emily experiences a troubling sign that she is not in her original house. She witnesses the following conversation between Beth and Lee in the kitchen.
Hey, where'd you get this? This is so cute.
Oh, I got it at Galaxy, that thrift store.
Oh, I love that place. That's great.
It's such cute stuff. I just don't...
That same exact conversation happened right at the start of the evening.
This is nice. Where'd you get this?
Galaxy, that thrift
Oh,
store?
I love that place.
Me too, I know.
So this confirms that this is not her, Beth, and Lee. The Red Hue and Amir sneak away, hoping to return to their original reality, but of course they enter the roulette wheel and probably get lost to an entirely different reality. Then an alternate Mike arrives at the house. He has a blue glow stick, but he is not the original Mike. The group hear a smashing noise, which is a Mike from another reality who has arrived to steal the physics book from their car. Emily goes to her car and retrieves the ring that Kevin gave her from her glove box. Kevin startles her at the window, and there's a very powerful moment between them when they realise that they are from different realities. This is not her, Kevin. Slowly they back away from each other. The group go back inside House 4, and then a completely different Hugh and Amir show up, from a reality we haven't encountered before. This Hugh claims he didn't leave a note on the door, but the group are in possession of two notes, one written by their Hugh and one written by another reality. This provides definitive proof to the characters that they're dealing with more than two realities. It's now worth talking about the box. This is the strategy that the group comes up with in order to mark their house so that they can find it in future. It gives their house a unique fingerprint. And the way they do it is each member of the group rolls a dice and writes the number on the back of their personal photo. So those numbers should be random in theory. The colour of the ink they use matches the colour of their glow sticks, blue in their case. They also add a random object to the box, a coaster. Now, of course, the alternate realities are very similar, so all of these alternate realities, it seems, have had the same idea. And this provides a really clever means to find out who is from where. Emily opens her notebook, expecting to find red numbers from when she wrote them down before, but to her surprise, she finds numbers written in green, confirming that she is not in House 1. The numbers in House 4 are written in green because they represent a box that was obtained from a green glow stick house, yet another alternate reality that we haven't encountered before. At this point, the characters are able to figure out where each of them are from by asking, what was the random object in the box that you stole earlier in the evening? For Beth and Lee, it's an oven glove. They are the only ones who belong to House 4 because they haven't ventured outside into the roulette wheel. For Emily, Kevin and Laurie, it's a ping pong bat because they are from House 1, so they're the only originals at this point. For Hugh and Amir, it's a stapler because they are from a different reality. And for Mike, it's a napkin because he is from yet another reality. So at this point in the film, 4 different realities are represented by this one group. Emily, Kevin and Laurie are the only ones from that dinner party depicted at the start of the movie in House 1. Then things get violent. Hugh punches Mike after finding out that Mike slept with Beth, and probably did so in all realities because that happened years ago, and the timelines only began to diverge when the comet arrived this evening. Mike comes to a place of acceptance, realizing that there's probably no way he can ever get back to his original reality.
I'm stuck here.
Then this Mike gets assaulted by a green glow stick Mike who shows up, and chaos unfolds. Emily decides to leave. She realizes that she will become locked into whichever reality she's in once the comet passes. So she wants to end up in a more preferable reality. She enters the roulette wheel and explores, looking through the windows of house after house, like shopping windows. In so many of them, she sees violence. But then she looks up. She appears to follow the direction of the comet. It's like a star leading her, almost reminiscent of the Magi following the star to the baby Jesus in the Christmas story. And what does she find? A happy house, one in which all 8 characters appear entirely oblivious to the crazy effects of the comet. Presumably the house in this reality didn't have the blackouts, and therefore none of these 8 people went outside, and none of them got sucked into the roulette wheel. If you like, in the context of the story, this is a pure house, entirely unsullied by the timeline corrupting effects of confusion and fear. This house represents the way things should be. They haven't interacted with any doubles. And tragically, it would have been like this for all the realities if the characters had only remained indoors. In particular, notice how the Emily in this house is snuggling up to Kevin. This is a callback to a detail at the start of the film. In House 1, Kevin asked Emily if she would like to accompany him on a business trip. But Emily was hesitant, and that created an awkwardness between the couple.
My editor needs to know how to book hotels and flights. I gotta do it. Let him know. Got another night.
You know, I can't. I just need to think about it a little bit longer because I just don't want to make the wrong choice.
What if you came for a shorter time, like a month, not the full 4 months? Just come for a month.
It's still a very long time, and I'm not saying no.
Babe, if you don't say yes, it becomes a no.
It doesn't justify it at all, but it's probably partly why Kevin ended up sharing an intimate moment with Laurie, his ex. So much of the relational unease between Emily and Kevin this evening has resulted from Emily's hesitation, that one moment at the start of the evening. But in this alternate reality, it appears that Emily said yes to the trip, hence why the two of them are at peace. And our Emily, the original Emily, she looks through the window and she sees what she wishes she had done. She desires the life of this alternate Emily, and so she decides to take it. Original Emily, she smashes a car window to lure the group out of the house. The alternate Emily goes to her own car to retrieve the ring, and that's when the original Emily strikes and sedates her. The original Emily takes the place of the alternate Emily as the comet disintegrates in the sky. It all seems to have gone to plan, but then the alternate Emily crawls into the bathroom. Original Emily beats alternate Emily over the head with the toilet lid and leaves her in the bath. Original Emily takes the ring from alternate Emily, goes downstairs and faints. Original Emily awakes. She goes upstairs. Alternate Emily is no longer in the bath. Original Emily goes outside and seems groggily surprised to find the smashed car window, even though she's the one who smashed it. Kevin gives her the ring he found in the bathroom, and she seems surprised to see it's a duplicate of her own. Maybe it's like waking up from a dream. She might remember something from the night before, but evidently not everything. Then it gets really freaky. Kevin gets a phone call from Emily, alternate Emily. He picks up.
That's weird. It's you calling me. Hello?
We don't hear what's said, but he looks startled. Such a fascinating ending for the movie. It's not going to give Kevin much detail at all about why there are two Emilys or anything like that. But it gives him enough information to shoot a suspicious glance at the Emily standing in front of him. And so, however it happens, original Emily has been exposed as an imposter. She almost committed the perfect crime. She almost took the place of the alternate Emily without being found out. But in the end, something of the truth has come out. And even if this phone call didn't happen, would original Emily really be able to slot into this reality without any repercussions? And I think that for me is the most powerful aspect of the film. It's kind of about how far are we willing to go to correct our past mistakes? Emily sees an opportunity. She sees through this kind of quantum phenomenon an opportunity for her to slot herself into an alternate reality, a fantasy in a sense. She sees the world as she wishes it was, and she tries to slot herself into that, hoping that there'll be no repercussions, hoping that she can get away with it and cover it up.
This whole night we've been worrying. There's some dark version of us out there somewhere. What if we're the dark version?
That's a very profound line from Mike, and it's paid off by the action that original Emily ultimately takes. How far is she willing to go to get the reality that she wants, to seize the opportunity to correct her own mistake? This film is not about the darkness from beyond, it's about the darkness within. So often people think that they're following their destiny, what's written in the stars, but really they're acting on the desires of their heart, which are frequently corrupted by sin. And it's really beautifully set up because right at the start of the film, in the dinner conversation, Emily expresses the frustration that she personally feels at someone else stealing what she sees as her rightful place.
I guess last time I saw you must have been when I was creating the dance show. It was going really, really well for a while, but then right before the premiere, they brought in Svetlana Asurano, who's the best dancer in the world, really. And they just offered me the understudy. You know, because of my pride, I didn't want to take the understudy, and I took too long to think about it, and then I lost the understudy job, and they gave that to Catherine Maris, and
She sucks.
no, she's good, guys. Anyways, the reason that she's really big now is because she ended up going up. Svetlana pulled out last minute, and Catherine ended up doing the show.
So Emily's role was snatched away by someone else, and I guess hurt people, because the film ends with Emily snatching the place of alternate Emily. A couple of other fascinating details that I haven't touched on. If all this weird alternate timeline stuff kind of begins at the moment that Emily's phone cracks, well, she enters the house, but Kevin, Hugh, Laurie, and Amir, they all arrive after her, which means, have they passed through the roulette wheel before the dinner party actually starts? That's a really interesting question. So it could be that right from the outset, we're already dealing with some alternate characters in the dinner party. There's also an interesting suggestion that something like this phenomenon has occurred before. Mike was in a TV show called Roswell, and Laurie watched that show, but she doesn't recognize Mike.
When were you on Roswell? What episodes were you on?
I was on all shows produced. I was on everything. I was a series regular on that show.
Yeah, he was like the main guy.
Now that can't be due to this particular instance of coherence resulting from Miller's comet, because Mike was in that show before the comet arrived. But the fact that Mike and Laurie have such differing outlooks on reality, well, perhaps there was another instance of coherence in the past, maybe from a different comet, resulting in branching timelines. Hence why, well, this might be Laurie from an alternate reality, and in her reality, Mike wasn't in Roswell for whatever reason. So there's just loads of interesting, subtle details like that suggesting, oh, this might have happened before. And in fact, during the dinner party, Emily describes a very disturbing story that she heard.
I read something this morning about a comet in the 1930s. It was in Finland.
Actually, it was in 1923. And yes, it was in Finland. It was actually crazy because it affected the people. They would, after it passed, they would get lost. They would end up in the wrong home. They would forget things. They wouldn't really know where they were. And I remember reading about this one woman who called the police and said that the man in my house is not my husband. And then the police came over and they said, this is your husband. She said, no, this is not my husband. I killed my husband yesterday.
Awesome.
That's how I know it's not him. Awesome. But they couldn't arrest her because he was standing right there in front of them.
So when you get to the end of the film, you kind of realize, I see how that might have happened. Lady killed her husband on the night of a comet passing overhead, and then an alternate of her husband from a different reality arrived at the house. So I love how the film does its foreshadowing. That dinner conversation is so crucial. None of the dialogue is wasted. There are so many other things we could talk about. I've tried to keep this video to the essence of the film, but if you're a fan of Coherence, I can highly recommend the explainer video made by writer-director James Byrkit himself.
This is the Coherence house. A lot of people ask about the title Coherence. They're like, is that a joke? Are you trying to be funny? When we started researching multiverse or parallel worlds or the many worlds, you get into these ideas by Hugo Everett. There's this word that comes up, which is decoherence. Decoherence is what keeps everything from happening at the same time so that we don't have, overlapping realities. And so decoherence is what you want. You want to keep everything separate. So we thought, the opposite of that is coherence. And the irony is that coherence would actually make everything completely bonkers. Everything would be completely incoherent.
I'll put a link in the description. You just have to pay a small fee to rent it. And he takes you through some subtle and fascinating details that he put into the movie along with the cast. And he also talks about the process of making the film, how improvisational it was. Coherence demonstrates what you can do with an ultra-low budget and a lot of ambition. And it's films like Coherence that have inspired me to start developing an ultra-low budget feature film idea of my own. It's called The Doppelgäng, and I'm currently writing the screenplay. It's about a man who gets pursued by dozens of doppelgangers of himself, and they represent not alternate realities, but potential realities. And if they get absorbed into him, they change the course of his life. It's taking me a while to figure it all out, but I'm really excited about this project. And would you like to help make it happen? Would you like to be involved in some way? Well, you can join my Patreon from just $1 a month, and on there you will get lots of bonus content related to the channel, but also exclusive updates about the making of this film. You will be able to share feedback and contribute to the film as it gets made, and your name will appear in the credits of the finished film. You're welcome to join the Patreon for a month, read the plot synopsis, and if it doesn't sound like something you want to see, you can cancel your membership anytime. Absolutely no hard feelings at all. This video was brought to you by my patrons. Thanks so much, guys, and shout out to Dimfner, who's on the Discord as well. Recommended I check out Coherence along with lots of other people, and I'm so glad I did, because I think this could be one of my new favourite low-budget sci-fi movies. My name is Thomas Thorogood. I get into the deeper meaning of movies. Do subscribe if you'd like to stay in the loop, and I will see you soon.